veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
Hey, how's everybody? Happy Resurrection Sunday, everyone. JR, how's it going? Look at you got on your sunglasses. What?
Listen, if I take my shades off and you see these tired eyes, you know why.
Okay, no
you're telling me to put the shades back on. Yeah, happy Resurrection Day to you and everybody out there who celebrates it. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. And yeah, let's chop up this episode.
Yeah, let's go ahead and chop it up. You guys, let us know. Holler at us in the chat. Let us know where you're viewing the show from, whether that's live or if you're part of the replay gang. Drop down in the comments later if you're part of the replay gang. Let us know where you're watching from and what is the weather like. Oh, JR took leave for a minute there, so I'll keep on talking.
Yeah, I'm here.
So, here in the Detroit, Michigan area, we're looking at almost 60 degrees and sunny, very sunny, beautiful day. A couple days ago, we had 83 degrees. So, it's warming up, but then it plays these games like, one day it's 80, one day it's 40, one day it's 60, one day it's 30. So I don't know. It doesn't know what it wants to do. What about where you're at, Jay?
Well, it's like that every day here. So whereas you're having like daily changes, we're having frequent changes throughout the day. So for example, today, started off very chilly. Then probably around 10, 11 in the morning, it just got like warm. So I was in my vest on the basketball court. And then about half an hour later, wind chill makes you put your stuff back on again and wrap up. So yeah, we're getting that. It's that time of year, I guess, where weather's just undecided about what it wants to do.
Right. It really doesn't really know, but I guess it's well, I don't know. It's just gonna keep on until we get to the 80s finally, maybe sometime in June or July. Hey Carlton, how you doing? Hey El Cid. That's right. You tell him, El Cid. You're here today live, or if you're watching on the replay, please be sure you hit that like button. It really helps us to get back out in the algorithm, helps to grow Life is Reality's YouTube channel, as well as the ActuallyAubery YouTube channel. So guys, be sure to hit that like, and make sure if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed and you have hit that notification bell too. So what else? 80s all week. Oh my gosh. My godmother is down in Georgia right now. In fact, I talked to her earlier this morning before she led Sunday school class. And yeah, she's very fortunate. She says she's coming back up here to Michigan, though, next month. So I guess she's going to trade all that 80 degrees in for our 60, 70 degrees. I don't know. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing started. What did you think about overall of this episode? Did you find it interesting? Did you see some highlights in it? Do you think the girls were more right than the guys, or what did you think, JR?
This episode was quite revealing, and it's quite revealing of all the cracks in the relationships, which are still in their very early stages in terms of physically meeting. Right. So it's not a good sign so far. I think one of the main features of this episode was the boundaries that the men have and the women have, and then both respecting each other's boundaries. Mm-hmm. And I would also say there's a lot of intimacy challenges, and some of the couples aren't ready for that yet. So that's obviously going to make some people anxious. I don't think any of the couples have hit the boom boom room and actually done the deed yet. So building intimacy in the way that Taronda's getting them to do it, I'm not sure if that's working for some of the couples.
What did you think about the title of this episode? I thought it was interesting that it was called Whining and Dining. What did you make of that?
Yeah, it's a play on what takes place in the kitchen, right? For the second time in the kitchen, couples been cooking, and there's been problems. There's been some demands, some requests, and it's coming across as, you know, being a bit too whiny, and I'm not sure if it's sustainable. To be honest with you, I mean, it's all right. You're getting to know each other, but to be so critical at this stage, yeah, it doesn't bode well.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the one of the problems with online dating. So we're gonna get started with this couple here. I think that's part of the problem, Jay, is that online dating, if you start talking online, even if you're talking over the phone, after a while, you already start to develop this sense that you know the person, but then when you meet them, you actually don't know them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's what I think we're facing, right? Because you're getting to know someone online, and it's never going to be the same as meeting someone in person. When you're face to face, you can see mannerisms, expressions, the words take a different connotation, or there's a certain tone that's when it's been delivered. So these are all nuances that they all have to navigate. And as I say, I think some are navigating it better than others. And that's what's evident at the moment. That's probably the most glaring thing that I'm seeing.
Well, specifically with this couple now, Kiki and Jared, what do you make of? Is he browbeating her by, you know, keep harping on? Has she been drinking too much? Is her exhaustion part of her drinking? Do you think, you know, what do you think is going on there?
Yeah, Kiki and Brandon. Right? So I think at first it seemed like he was being quite critical because we hadn't seen her drink that much yet from what we've been shown on the TV show, right?
Right. Well, let me make a quick correction. Elsie, you're right. That's Brandon and Kiki. Sorry.
Yeah. So now in this episode, we've seen how her behavior, or we've seen how her demeanor is after she's woken up from drinking the next day. So when they were tasked with the kitchen task, doing the cooking and things, she basically was delegating who should chop up the greens, who should do this, who should do that. And she goes, "Yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm going to go outside." So she went outside and went for a walk and left Brandon.
Well, hold on. Just okay. So this scene right here actually is just the beginning. I know, I get where you're going. That's coming up a little bit later. He's just really still checking in with her because she's saying she's not feeling well. She's a little flushed. And this is before all that happens. So if we're on that particular scene, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is the precursor to where I was going. So
yes.
She woke up feeling the ill effects of drinking, right?
Yeah,
so,
it does seem to be that way. You know, she said,
right. Everybody else was awake.
Kind of in denial, I think.
No, everybody else was awake. She doesn't see a problem with it. Everybody else was up and functioning and walking around the house, and she was still in bed, laid up. So that's why we went upstairs to speak to her.
Right.
So
that's right. Yeah. Now we're on track.
Exactly. So if his boundary is, you know, if he's been saying to her, you know, do you think you need to be drinking so much? Then this is giving him the proof that his concerns are justified in that, you know, from how it seems. So when he went and pulled her out, he didn't even pull her out, but he asked her if they could have a conversation. She said, "Okay, I'm awake. Let's talk right here," while she's still in bed under the blankets. And he was like, "No, let's go out to the balcony."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Get some
so
fresh air.
right,
Right.
yeah. So I thought that conversation would have been a lot longer, but it wasn't. It was basically, um, how you feeling? Okay, let's go and get breakfast. That was pretty much it.
Well, you know what, like it says on the screen though, she did talk a little bit. Here's what I got out of it. Let me just say this. Here's what I got out of it. Her saying that I'm not a violent drinker, I'm a fun drunk, I'm new here. It's a new environment. I want everybody to like me. A lot of what she said, even in this brief scene, for me as a viewer, it gave me insight into her insecurities. Like, she wants these people to like her. So she feels like if she drinks and she gets relaxed, I guess that's going to help people to like her. And I don't know. I think for me, at this long age, big old age that I'm at, I think that shows to me that that's some faulty thinking that she's got going on. Because if you think that just you drinking is going to make people like you, that's not really what's going to make people like you.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no one else drinking to that extent,
No.
and everybody else in the house seems to be getting on fine.
Yeah, and then it's also interesting to me that right here in this picture here that she's saying that I'm the fun drunk. I guess it's probably again a generational thing, but I don't know what's fun about being drunk, really.
Well, that's what Brendan's trying to say about her controlling her drinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. I think that, like I
Her
said,
cruising right.
right. He's right. She is. She's showing the cracks in her. Even though I know, we said that she's a model, she's a bottle girl, she's this, she's that, but it's showing that she really has a lot of insecurities, and we all do. We all have insecurities, but you can't allow what you want people to think of you to direct your choices. That's what I'm afraid of for her.
Well,
Um,
that's the thing. The reason why this scene wasn't as significant for me is because,
mhm.
um, again, it kind of just showed us more of what Brandon's been saying to her. She's
Okay.
admitting that she does drink to have fun. And I think it's more to do with anxiety.
Yes, that too. That too.
So
Anxiety.
it may be to relax her nerves, and then she can start to have fun, but she's under the influence of something. And I know that from a male perspective, it's never good to have a lady who's not got all of her senses
Faculties.
together, who's under the
Right.
influence. It'd be a
Yeah.
very dangerous position. So,
I thought it was interesting too that he mentioned, has anybody ever asked you about your drinking habits before? So I don't know. We're gonna find out. We're gonna get to them and talk about them a little bit more um as we go on.
well,
Uh
just one thing on that.
yes.
Um, when he asked her this question, um, the answer that she gave, did it really answer the question that he asked? Because I don't recall her giving
Mm,
specifics.
no, it kind of didn't. I think she basically said, she kind of went into, she kind of did some more talking. You're right. She deflected and she kind of told us a little bit more about why she drinks. That she has a friend and they do drinking together and they'll finish a bottle together. But you're right. She didn't really answer if anyone had mentioned to her about her drinking before.
Mhm.
So and the question I had when she mentioned about the friend, the question I had in my head was, is her friend a guy or a gal? Because I'm picturing in my head it's a guy.
Mm.
And if that's the case, like what else is going on while they're having this bottle of wine or beer or
But
whatever they're drinking?
she doesn't even consider wine alcohol.
Oh yeah, that's right, she doesn't. You're right. Or the bottle of Hennessy they're drinking, I don't know.
Mm.
You're right. We did find that out that she doesn't consider wine to be alcohol. Um, so on to Chris and Alexis. The two of them, uh, they get together and he's talking to her. I think I got the wrong photo up. Sorry. Um, he's talking to her about how he was irritated even during the body paint exercise last week, and she's kind of giving him the eye, like the side eye, like, yeah, what you talking about, boy? But she did manage to apologize. She did seem to have a more humble spirit. What would you say, or what were your thoughts?
Mm. I think she listened and heard him out, and he is the type of person to express his boundaries or what he's going through, in a respectful way, of course. So I expect her to be receptive. To be honest, there shouldn't be any pushback just because he's telling you something you may not like. It's something that he has an issue with, the control aspect. If he says no, or asks for permission first, then respect that. And I
Yeah.
think she doesn't want to lose him over that, so that's why she apologized.
Okay. Yeah. They ended up with a big hug and a kiss and something about her breath smelling like onions. Okay. Now we get to the exercises. Uh, have you guys heard of the Kama Sutra? Of course we have. Of course we have. Um, you've heard of the Kama Sutra, Jr. Yes.
I've heard something about it.
Okay. All right. All right. So now we get down, and I mean, it's interesting that the first couple called to the sand is actually Alicia and Irwin, because they definitely Alicia seems to have issues with cuddling and affection. So that was interesting that they got called to the sand first. Uh, what did you think about their polls? Did they do okay?
No, but
Gosh.
yes, she has problems with physical touch. She's not ready to be touched. She's not ready to be held. She's not ready to kiss. She's not ready to do any of that. The most she's ready to do is to cuddle after they've resolved whichever issue they're dealing with at that time. But I don't think she's necessarily attracted to him either. And we do have to bear in mind that she does have anxieties built up over her condition as well. But still, intimacy is required in a relationship. And if you're not at that stage, that's fine. But he may be, and that might be a reason why it creates some distance between the two of them. And she was
Yeah,
very excited to be eliminated from this game.
she
So
was.
that
She was.
so that tells you that she's not a fan of the touching at all.
And I believe that was what Tatiana and Clay, who was also, they were competing. The two couples were competing against one another to see
Yeah.
who was going to win the prize. So
Mhm.
Tatiana and Clay won this round. But then we get to we got wait a minute, Tatiana and Clay. Oh, the basketball couple. What's their name? The basketball couple.
Cinco and
Jay.
Jay.
Cinco
Yeah.
and Jay. Yeah. So Cinco and Jay get in the ring with Tatiana and her guy. And now the host is telling them, we got to get up. You guys got to get up. Y'all doing too much. Y'all are doing way too much. I thought somebody was going to get pregnant during this exercise. Did you?
Uh, no, I thought it was kind of tame, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I,
Okay.
I mean, other than Clay trying to make some dumplings back there on their muffins, um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Oh
like
yeah.
it was pretty basic, pretty standard. And even then, she wasn't comfortable with it. She didn't necessarily vocalize it, but she did say in her confessional she wasn't
Yeah.
comfortable with where his hands were going. in front of
Yeah.
everybody.
Right. She said it kind of felt a little performative too.
Hmm.
You know, like he's trying to get some cool points with the guys instead of worrying about being more concerned about how she feels.
Yeah,
So
but if we do notice, none of the other guys really pushed the boundary like that in terms of the physical intimacy. They kept it very
yeah, very, very
respectful, I would say,
yes,
restricted. Yeah.
yes, you're right. You're right. In that respect, it was tame. Other than him doing those, what did you call it? Making the muffins or
Making
uh,
dumplings out of muffins.
okay, okay. And then we had Ty and his girl came up and they actually did all right. They, you know, I think what got them, I believe. Now you tell me if you have some different thoughts. I believe what got it for them was not only did they do the position well, but then they showed an extra layer of intimacy by actually kissing.
Mhm. Yes, indeed. But that shows that that's the level they're at, and the other couples aren't there with their partners. So I'll be looking around at my partner saying, you know, this is what they're doing, this is where they're at, and I'll be evaluating where we are. You know, are you comfortable with my touch? Are you comfortable with me being close to you? If I put my arm around you, is it going to be a problem? You know.
Oh, I see. You know what? Thank you. That's a very insightful comment. Like, so in other words, they could have been utilizing the skills of the consent exercise, which came first, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's a very good point. That's an excellent point. So then we have Chris and Alexi come up and they're competing doing something called the grasp or the clasp. Is that what it was?
The class. Yeah.
The clasp. So the men have clasped the women, and unfortunately for for Lexi, she decides she wants to be a cowgirl and she wants to go all the way down, and now she's struggling to get back up. I'm surprised Chris didn't just drop her.
Yeah, because if you look at the picture here, he's only holding her by two fingertips
Yeah.
on his
Yeah.
hand. So what she did, she let go of her grip around his neck and flopped
Hmm.
backwards. And
Yep.
that must have been very difficult because you don't want to drop her on national TV.
No,
All right.
you don't.
Yeah. So he was panicking and she was struggling to get, pull herself back up, that core strength, maybe she
Right.
needs some VIP training. I don't know. But um, yeah, it, but at least they didn't clash over the particular pose that they were required to do. They both seemed quite comfortable with each other.
They did. They did this time around. They absolutely did. She didn't try to overshadow him. She didn't go grabbing for his man bits and his
He,
man parts.
you know what?
His you know what's. Yes, there you go. There you go. But in the end, the stronger team won. Ty and his lady, they won.
Hmm.
They won the whole thing. So they're getting to go for the
Couples
couples
massage.
massage. Yeah, the couples massage. Um, we have
Oh,
at
might
the
I just add that's a
oh
blessing in disguise, as um, we're gonna find out later.
okay, okay, all right. Um, well, now speaking of Clay, we got Clay talking to who is that? Jared or is that
Hmm.
Jared? Yeah,
Yeah.
Jared. Okay, talking to Jared, and they're outside. You know, after this, the men are by the pool, and he wants to say he needs to tell Tatiana that he has a daughter. He's just recently had a daughter, and he has failed to inform her of such.
Yeah. Very disappointing, Club Bossier. Very disappointing. This is another opportunity where you blew it, buddy. Um,
Right.
you know, I can see why he's talking to Jared because Jared's just revealed his secret and he says he's got a weight lifted off of his shoulders. He feels free. He's not holding anything back now because he's revealed his concerns and his secret, right?
Hmm.
So he is the right person to be speaking to. The problem is it didn't motivate Clay to come clean with his situation. I
Mm-mm.
don't like what he did. I don't like what he did.
Yeah, because she comes out. She comes out.
Exactly.
She
And she
comes out.
overhears them.
She's overheard some of what they said, not all of it, but some of it,
Hmm.
enough to get the sense that he's hiding something from her. But
Absolutely.
instead of telling her the truth, he lies and says, "Well, you know what? You know what it really is that I'm falling in love with you." And very perceptively, she says, "You know what? I think you're BSing me.
Hmm.
I think you're
Yeah.
BSing me."
And if he, listen, I know he was in the pool and he was drenched,
Mm-hmm.
but if he wasn't, and they're in
He
a
would be
different
sweating
setting,
bullets.
yeah, he would have
He would
been just
be
as
sweating
soaked.
bullets.
He would have been sweating just as soaked as he was. Um, because she saw through the BS and he still carried on trying to play it off as if it's nothing major. But she's very aware. I think she definitely overheard sections of that conversation, which meant that anything he said could have been easily picked up as you know BS basically.
Yeah.
Um, and I think yeah, this is the opportunity where again, now that they're alone, Jared went to go check his girl Charlie, and now that they're alone by the pool, you've just spoken to Jared.
Mm-hmm.
You've said for a few episodes now you have this secret to tell her.
Yeah.
He's had quite a few chances, and yeah, she's gonna erupt. She's not gonna like it. You've hidden it, and the baby is quite recent. So yeah, you. I think he's more concerned about how a reaction's going to be, but there's not going to be a perfect time. There's not
Never.
going to be a perfect time. It's going
Never.
to be hard for her to take it. So you might as well just do it and see how how the chips fall.
Yeah, he didn't even it's almost like he didn't hear Jared when Jared was saying, "Well, man, since I told my secret to my lady, I feel like a huge weight's been lifted off my shoulders." So I think Jared wasn't telling him that he had to tell her now, but then again, in a way, indirectly, I think he kind of was.
Yeah, because he's saying, you know, once you tell her, then you're not holding on to it anymore. Now
Right.
you can deal with how you progress forward. Now that you've told her.
Right. And as Jared likes to say all the time to his girl Charlie, now they can deal with the logistics of it all.
Exactly. Um, Remind me, does Tatiana have a child though already?
I don't know. I don't know if she does or not. They have not. I don't recall that they've ever mentioned it. So
Right.
I'm not sure. So we're gonna probably
Okay.
find a little bit more the next episode on that. But as we
Right.
move, we're,
Well,
oh,
this
I'm
is
sorry.
that's why it's going to be such a bombshell then,
Hmm.
because if she doesn't have children, she's under the impression that he doesn't, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden he's going to pull out this kid in the last 6 months or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's going to be devastating for her to hear that.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking she probably doesn't have any kids,
Mhm.
because with the other couple,
Oh,
Charlie, Jared, she already had, at least to his knowledge in the beginning, she had at
oh.
least one child.
El Cid says Tatiana does actually have a child.
Oh, she does? Okay. Oh, okay. Well, then what's the big problem with him telling her then? I mean, and
They,
like I said,
they,
even if he didn't, I just don't understand people that hide their children. I think that's one of the most despicable things that you can do, to hide your kid or deny your kid. I just think that's despicable.
yeah, me too. Me too. I really do think that that's one of the lowest things you can do because that can create so many issues with that child if they find out that that's what you do.
Yeah, you
They might feel
have,
issues with abandonment and
yeah,
feel some type of shame that you're ashamed of them, and you're as a parent, having your kid feel like that can really change the nature of your relationship and form the way that they go on to have relationships when they grow older.
absolutely, absolutely. So our next we move on to Oh my goodness, I'm getting brain fart here. Help me out. Help me out, Sid. Help Sid. Um, uh, this couple right here.
Yeah, Alexis and Irvin.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Alicia.
Alicia and Irvin. Sorry.
Alicia and Irvin. Thank you. You were close. You were close. Alicia and Irvin. They've decided that she says that we don't communicate with one another. And because of that, they've sent them to meet with the specialist. And here they are sitting down, Irvin and Alicia, with the therapist. And she wants to know if there's a activating or triggering event. Alicia says, well, I just see him when he gets upset. I see his body transform, his face transform, his voice, and I feel like it's a form of aggression. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
I definitely don't agree. So, what are you trying to say? He's not allowed to express himself or feel a certain way after you've spoken to him a certain way. So you feel you could kind of, because if we look at what Irving's actually said, he said he has issues with the way that she's been bossy and been controlling.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she said that she doesn't feel safe around him, then those are obviously going to trigger him, because that's going to elicit feelings of disappointment. I've been waiting all this time to meet up with you, and now you're telling me early on you don't feel safe around me, and all the other boundaries you put up. I can see why he's frustrated. But I've never seen him get angry. I don't think I've seen him get angry. I think he's been disappointed. He's been emotionally charged when he walked out, but he wasn't cussing at her or anything.
No, that's what I said. That's the first thing I said. And not only that, every time that she has indicated that she feels really uncomfortable or said that she feels unsafe, what does he do? He said, okay, then I'm leaving the room, which
Right.
I think is to her benefit as a woman. If you say you're afraid and you feel unsafe, of course he's going to leave, because the next thing you know, you're going to be calling the police saying, hey, this guy is in the room with me, in the house with me, and I feel unsafe. So of course he walks away. And I think she should accept that, because either she's picked the wrong word by saying she feels unsafe. Instead of saying she feels unsafe, say that, I feel like you're emotional, you're excited, but don't say you feel unsafe if that's not how you really truly feel.
Well, this is the walking contradiction that she is, right?
Mm-hmm.
When she says that she feels unsafe, and then he gets up and leaves, she now says she feels like he's pulling away, and it's like a feeling of abandonment when he pulls away from her, and she doesn't like it. She got quite emotional about that. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say that you feel unsafe around someone and expect them to sit there, especially if you want them to respect your boundaries and how you feel. So if he had sat there and ignored what she said and continued to stay in her space, things would have escalated. And then once they've escalated, then she can say, well, I told him I don't feel safe around him, and he's still stuck. He still stayed in the room.
Mm-hmm.
The obvious answer would have been, okay, Erwin, you should have excluded yourself from the room as soon as she said she was uncomfortable. And that's exactly what he's done. So he did the right thing. Because, as a man, if someone tells me they feel unsafe around me, I automatically now feel unsafe around them. So it's best that I remove myself from the situation.
Absolutely. I mean, I think he's doing the very best and the right thing that he can do. Like you said, is removing himself. But what I have a problem with too is, like El Cid is saying in the chat, I think that either she, again, here we go again. Either she has a very diluted sense of what is anger and what is aggression. I mean, like, so in other words, no one can ever disagree with her without being aggressive, because that's what I'm hearing. I didn't hear him yelling. As you pointed out, he never called out her name. He never cursed at her. None of that. Like, he was holding his point, saying that, wait a minute, like, I just want you to be more affectionate. Well, I don't want to be affectionate. Well, then we have some problems. And then she wants to be in denial about that. And now then to just throw up and say you feel unsafe with him, that's beyond crazy.
Exactly. So that's now going to put a dampener on how intimacy will be formed. It's going to have to be at a very snail's pace. And if if he's accepting of that, then it can work. If he feels like um, I think he said she uses her condition to kind of weaponize it type thing.
Yeah, and the therapist said, I don't see that you're using that to weaponize it, but I have to disagree with the therapist. And I know she's the professional and I'm not, but I feel like in this particular situation, she absolutely is using her illness. Just like last week, she used her illness to come in and bogart in the kitchen and try to be the boss of Ty while
Mhm.
he and his lady were cooking the meal for 14 people, and she's
Right.
all of a sudden she can't have butter, and she waits till the last minute when all the stuff is going into the pan to tell them about she can't have butter on her food.
Yeah. And like I said, I alluded to before, there's actually a scene that was on the OWN network where they showed Ty in the kitchen cooking. And it was Alicia and Ty's girl. And they were basically saying, like, telling them, is this your first time on the rodeo? Is this the first time you've cooked for people? Listen, put the mango sauce on the side so that people can use it if they want to. Don't cook with it. So they're kind of telling him what to do and not trusting him to just make the meal for everybody. Use tortilla chips, use the standard chips for this, use this, that, the other. And you can see that he's getting frustrated. So I think her communication style is not working in a positive way for him. She's only concerned about how she feels when he is reacting. And although it's not explosive or bad tempered, she's still concerned about how he reacts to the way she speaks to him. But she's not cognizant of his requests for her to respect his boundaries also.
Right, it's one-sided for her. Everything is
Yeah,
one-sided. It's all about
exactly.
her, how she feels.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. So we move forward. They do seem to come to some form of a truce, and we move forward to um, Brandon. Brandon decides to play a game at the dinner table and asked everybody to write down whether or not they're going to be moving forward with their partner. And we get some very interesting answers because I think there's about 6 or 7 no's. No, 4 no's. Four
Four,
no's.
four
Four
out of seven.
4 out of 7 no's, right? And at first, we're not really sure who said the no's, but of course, me in my mind, I'm watching it. I'm like, yeah, it's the dudes. Just like when I heard the one person said yes forever and ever and ever, I'm like, okay, that's a girl. That's a girl who wrote that.
Mhm.
Did you think that when you heard the yes forever and ever? What did you think? Who wrote that?
Yeah, I did think that. But again, some couples are not experiencing the turbulence that others are. So it's showing you that because it's meant to be an experience when you're dating someone, the men who wrote no are not actually enjoying the experience to this point with the partners that they have.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think I could probably better understand maybe some of them saying they're unsure, right? Question mark. They're unsure. We did have one person that submitted a question mark.
Mm.
Um, Let me see. I'll take that off the screen. We've got. Oh, did I get the names mixed up again? El said that was Jared. Okay, let me go back to the. Sorry. Ah, that was. Why do I get Jared and the other guy mixed up? Brandon. Brandon is Kiki's guy, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
Brandon's got
Jared
the braids and Jared is with Charlie. Yeah.
with Charlie. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. That's Jared. Okay, that's Jared. My bad. My bad. Thanks, Elsia, for keeping me on top of things. Okay, so with this one, we've got you've got Kiki. She says no. This is after they've done the game. She's out. She's in the room playing pool. They're playing, at the pool table, and she tells him that I know that he wrote no. I saw him write it. So yeah, that's one way of being sure. That's one way of
Mhm.
sure. Okay, Elsie said the best way to know Aubrey is Brandon's got the body and the braids. Okay, yeah, he's cute. He's cute. You're right. Okay, she says she saw him. So what did you think when she said she actually saw him? I said, well, wow, that could have been any of the ladies because they were all weren't they all sitting next to their partners at the table or no?
I think they were, but if she glanced over and saw no, then she would have felt dejected. And if she has a fear of abandonment, then that would have kicked in at that moment because
Mm-hmm.
he's already saying that he's not happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that may have come as a surprise to her at how unhappy he is that he's willing to put no. Um, so I can understand why she's a bit upset about that.
Yeah.
Definitely see that.
Yeah. Um, and he's telling her that she's not dependable. Like, do you feel like, that she should have been more dependable? Because clearly he was frustrated that everybody else in the house had to help him cook dinner on the night that the two of them were supposed to be bonding and cooking it together.
Yeah, I can definitely see that because it's a team task. So when she left him to do, in front of everybody, and she's outside, the other housemates had to say, "Look, she's outside. Look out the window. Look, she's out there." And he's like, "What? I thought she went upstairs because she wasn't feeling well or something like that." So, yeah, he felt like she let the team down by going out and doing her own thing instead of working together, which is what the task is about: working together and preparing a meal with love, I guess, and
Yeah.
bonding over it. And
Yeah.
they failed that task pretty much because she, like I said, she kind of allocated responsibility to people and then said she had enough. She's fed up. So she walked out. Not
Yeah.
dependable at all.
Right. Osea points out, yeah, she was out. She's supposedly dehydrated, quote unquote, but she's out in the heat with no water. That's a
Yeah.
very good point. The other thing that we found out this scene though too is that he was cooking this hibachi style meal because that she had told him that that was her favorite meal, and he was cooking it with love. And I guess he really wanted to impress her and show her that he could do this hibachi style. Maybe he had been practicing before he came here to be with her. And that is a big deal. I know as a person that, I'm medium rare about cooking, like about enjoying cooking. But when I do like to cook, if I'm cooking for other people, it's encouraging to me to hear them that they enjoyed their meal. Or if they're
Mhm.
helping me in the kitchen, that's some bonding time for me and that person. So I really do kind of get his point that she just kind of, it was one thing if she was really feeling bad and dehydrated and ill, but then when she comes out and she's hanging outside in the heat, I think that was the last straw.
Yeah, that was. Because there'd been a few incidents before that, and that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. And as we've seen, Brandon is very expressive. And if anything, he is quite explosive with the way he shuts things down very quickly and says he wants no parts of it. And then he'll walk
Hmm.
away. So we've seen evidence of Brandon being quite close to the end of his tether, right? Um, reaching his limit. And if at this early stage he's willing to just down tools and just get out of there to get away from the situation.
Yeah.
Um,
I want to know though too when they get a chance to talk with the therapist. Sorry for cutting you off. I would like to know what is it about drinking, because I feel like there's something very deeply emotional, some trauma tied to him not wanting her to drink at all. I get that she's probably drinking too much for him and that it's embarrassing, but I want to know what is the trigger for her not drinking, for her being able to drink at all. Is there something behind that?
yeah, it could very well be. We don't know much about his personal barriers or boundaries. But obviously, this is a reoccurring theme where he's talking about the drink situation. And it could also be, as I kind of alluded to before, that if a lady is not in control of herself, like under the influence or inebriated, it's not a safe place for a guy to be.
Mhm.
He doesn't drink, and she does. So I think there are things that may have been happening that weren't shown on the show, where you've seen evidence of the drink affecting her in a negative way. as far as he's concerned. Whether she becomes more performative or loud or starts doing, trying to dance around, jump on a table, whatever it is, he's not happy with it. So yeah, there may be an underlying causative of trauma, or he could have had a negative experience previously and it just put him in a situation where he's like, nope, I don't want to go through that again. So I'm shutting this down early.
Yeah. So, yeah, they got some stuff to work through. So hopefully we'll get them in with the therapist so that they can talk and kind of work it out. Because the one thing I see about them too, they really can't seem to sort things out for themselves. They always end up he's walking away. He doesn't want to talk about it. And I have to say, I feel like that's pretty immature on his part too, to always be walking away.
Yeah, I think just like we said with Erwin, there comes a point in time where things will escalate if you stay in the situation.
Okay.
So the mature thing to do is to walk away.
Okay.
Not saying that it's all the time. I don't think he's just walking out during mid-sentence, being that rude about it. But I think with how high-strung he seems to be able to get, it's definitely smarter for him to make the business decision and leave before he escalates even further, or they both do.
Okay. And we move to Ty. And Ty. They won the challenge, so of course they got the massage. But we find out, I'm thinking that things are going really well with them, but we find out that Ty, this lady right here, she doesn't like that Ty's always making all these funny jokes or not so funny jokes. Did you know that?
Well, I didn't know before, but she definitely has a problem with it now. She doesn't think he takes things seriously. He's always laughing and joking, and she's tired of that. I think she wants to see more something else from him. Maybe being more sensible and more insightful, something along those lines. But he seems like he's a jovial type of happy-go-lucky kind of guy, and that they may not work because of that. She doesn't find that attractive, she said, and that's big. If she's saying she doesn't find him attractive, then the intimacy challenges, the boom boom room, all these different things, that's never going to go down for them like that.
Yeah, Brittany and Ty. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm wondering, as she's telling us in the confessional, is this something that she shared with him? Or is this something that she's just comfortable telling us, the audience?
To me, it seemed like she's comfortable telling us and she hasn't told him yet. Because when they were getting the massage and he was, making jokes, that's when she was like, yeah, he's not taking this seriously. He's always got some wisecrack or something to say, and he's never serious for the moment.
You know what? El Cid brings up a very good point. You're right, El Cid. On the first date that they had, you're right. She did talk about him always laughing. They were the ones that went parasailing. Is that correct?
Yes, they did. Yep.
Okay, correct. At least I remember something here. They went parasailing. I remember they were on the boat and he was just laughing and joking with her. And she seemed to not really enjoy that much humor or his type of humor. I don't know if it's just his type of humor or just that every time he wants to make some funny. She says one of the things she said is it's not romantic. He's not romantic to her.
Yeah. Well, this is the tricky thing, right? There are some guys who lead with their humor because they know that some ladies tend to like a guy that has a sense of humor. Because there's an old saying that if you can make a girl laugh, then you can win her over, right?
That's true. That's a saying.
Yeah.
Yes,
but it doesn't work in all cases because you have a lady like Brittany or
Brittany.
Like, he wants to see the more serious side, and he may not be that type of person that leads with the serious side. Obviously, he must have one, but she's not attracted to him based on his sense of humor. I do find that so early that's a very big concern, because it's
Okay.
meant to be, even though she's, you're right, there is meant to be a romantic element to it, getting to know each other, getting serious about each other and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But laughing and humor is also another way to break the ice and break down walls. So
But it has its moderation and its balance, though. So now
yeah,
that we're at least a few days into it, because we've seen them have, dates, they've cooked together. So now that we're a few days into it, and I can understand even in the very beginning, the first day or two, being nervous, having that nervous energy where you're making a lot of jokes to try to, have her be attracted to you or laugh with you. But yeah, she's right though. I have to agree with her. At some point, you got to stop making the jokes, or else, how are we having serious conversations and further getting to know one another?
yeah. But also, having fun is important.
Yeah.
And if he walked around, if we flip it so that he's as serious as he is humorous, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there would be a problem with that too.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. It is about finding a balance and timing, because the thing about comedy is the ability to have comedic timing. So there are times where you can have one-liners or you make someone laugh, but you have to do it at a time where they're going to be receptive to it. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're doing it all the time, then you come across as a joker and not knowing how to read the room.
You know what? Maybe he's trying to hide a darker side too, because Elsia says she's weary of these overly jovial people. I get what you're saying, Elsia. We
Yeah.
need to have you up here next week. You know what? We need to have you up here next week. What you doing next week, girl? But yeah, I don't know. I think that part too. Elsid also points out that she has kids, and he hasn't mentioned that he has any. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I think the thing about it this particular time is, if you're having a massage, I think that it's a good time to kind of just be relaxed, and maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to hear you talking. That's kind of like when you're making love. I don't know that I necessarily want to hear you talking a whole lot.
Uh,
You go, you go, you gonna mess up the fantasy in my head that I'm having with Idris Elba. You gonna mess that, you gonna mess that stuff up if you get to talking too much. So just like
uh,
a couple of moans and groans is all that's needed.
well, listen, I'm trying to be careful here, but so coaching can be very sensual as well, and
Why did you go
coaching.
behind your avatar all of a sudden?
I can't have people seeing me blush. I'm a black man. I can't be blushing. Um, but yeah, so I think yeah, coaching can be cool in that setting, because it can also be quite erotic to hear the feedback from how you're stimulating your partner, right? But anyway, I digress. The fact is that yeah,
Do
you
you
could
want to
be.
hear your girl talking while you guys are making love? Do you want to hear all that conversation? I mean, not just conversation, just joking and all kinds of conversation while you were in the throes of passion.
If it's a conversation about what we're doing, then yeah, that's it. Absolutely. If it's
Okay.
if you're telling me about, man, there's pots in the stove, there's glasses
How
on the
come you didn't
table.
wash the dishes before
Did you
we
wash the dishes? Did you take the trash out? Oh, my back, my back. Hey, I was meant to put some chicken out earlier and I forgot. Oh my God. I don't want to hear that. No. But yeah, in a couple massage setting, the fact that he's able to talk and his mind is not unnaturally relaxing, that's where I think she was going with it. Um,
Ah.
like it's meant to be when you get a massage, right? It's meant to release stress, relax your muscles, relax your mind, and the fact
Silly
that
Elsie.
the fact that you're still trying to bust jokes and things
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah,
It shows that
that's
you're not relaxed. You're not into the actual process of what's
you're
happening.
not. What is it they always say? You're not in the moment. You're not living in the moment.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So that was part of the problem I think she had with that, because I just don't know. I just think too much talking at the wrong time is a bad, 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 bad thing. Like I
Exactly.
said.
Like
But
if we're watching a movie or something, don't talk,
mhm.
right? Because
Oh,
I've
you're clearly not from Detroit, because everybody here talks when we're watching a movie, especially at the theater.
oh no. Well, listen, I want my money back. Whoever you ruined my experience. I don't want people telling me what's happening next. And oh yeah, do you know that this person starred in this movie too? I don't want to know that now. Let's just watch the movie. All right.
That must be a
Uh,
UK thing.
Yeah, especially like so. If I'm asked to pick the movie or let's sit down and watch a movie, and I'm like, okay, let's do that. And then
Okay.
we're watching the movie, and then 5 minutes in, it's like, yeah. So did you see? Or you're sending me stuff on Instagram, or you did. I'm like, hey, but you said you wanted to watch the movie.
Right, right, right.
You
Yeah, I
know,
agree with you about that. That's you
let's
should.
focus on what the movie is, and then we can discuss afterwards.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Uh, what is she saying? He doesn't want. Okay. Oh, Sid has an explanation. She says that Ty is in a weird spot. He doesn't want the man rubbing his girl. Doesn't want the man rubbing his girl or him.
Oh
Oh, wait a
well,
minute. I'll see it. You're from Atlanta, so you say preach. You telling JR preach, huh? You don't want nobody talking during your movie.
yeah, no, no.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so I have to say, I
Yes.
do agree with that. When I think he is in kind of a tight spot, because I've I definitely understand that um, massage is massage, right? But to be honest, it's a dicey one because to be honest, I've had couple massage and I don't
Yeah.
want no man touching me ever.
Oh well, yeah. I would think that
Absolutely not.
yeah, they
But
should have the gal for the guy and the guy for the gal, because I prefer a male masseuse myself.
right, but that's not always condoned in places.
Mm.
They think it's safer. It avoids a lawsuit if you have the same
Oh, I see
sex
what you're
doing it.
saying, for them, for the
Yeah,
company, for them not to be sued. Well,
exactly.
okay. Well, let's move forward. We've got this person right here who I'm really quickly becoming very offended by.
Oh, Jared
Yeah,
and Charlie.
yeah, Jared. Yeah, now finally I get the right Jared. Okay, this Jared, this Jared, and this Charlie. Right. So Jared and Charlie, um, he's over here telling her, they go back and they're discussing the answers that the people wrote, and people wrote hell no and no to the no and all that kind of stuff, and he's up here telling her a big fat lie, saying that he said yes when we've seen him with the guys, and he told the guys, he said, well, you know what, I'm the one that said no. Hell no. um 6 kids in the house is crazy. That's what he's saying.
Hmm. Yep.
But now he's in front of her, and because he wants to uh wait a minute.
There's
Okay.
tons of words you can use.
He wants to he right. He wants to crack. He wants to crack, as he's calling it. He wants to get in her pantaloons, as I like to say. Her
Well,
pantaloons.
I'll
So
I'll
so
be I
he's
I
lying. He's lying to her because he wants to. He's been waiting and 4 years, and he wants to get inside her pants. Now,
yep,
what
and
do you
that
think
is
about
his
that?
motivation.
Yeah, his motivation, right?
I think you can swap out the word two and put four, FOR.
4 kids.
No, I've been waiting for crack. I've been waiting to see that. Now, I think Jared is trying to get the payoff. I think this is a notch on the bedpost type situation. Um, she's fine as hell. He's been talking to her for a long time.
Hmm.
Um, and the payoff is, what is she like between the sheets? So he's willing to withstand the secret of hiding the kids, the 4 kids or whatever, the 3 kids he didn't know about. He's willing to withstand all of that. He's got a secret that, balances it out in his mind, I guess. But now let's get down to business, because we haven't met before, and now it's time to, you're blatant. You're not a stranger to having to being intimate, to being active, to activating.
She's certainly not a virgin, no.
No, because she just had a child 6 months ago. So, and by what we know, it was a one-night stand type thing. So, you're not a nun. So, it's time to get down to some adult nighttime activities.
Is he concerned? Is he going to be concerned at all that she's so fertile?
And
so is he, apparently. More or less.
Well, I think that should be a concern, because then, they're going to have another one between them, and that's going to cause added strain. If he's already worried about 6, then he's going to be worried about 7 even more, right?
Yeah.
Just simple maths.
Well, if you recall, JR, I asked this question last week when the 2 of them got together. He kept talking about logistics for the 6 kids. I asked you then, I said, and are they planning, when they get together, are they planning to have a baby together? Remember that?
Yeah. I think it's a strong possibility that they do, because these incidents can happen in one night, completely unplanned or unprotected. So, it wouldn't surprise me if that did happen between them.
Yeah, I don't think. I think these 2 should be banned from the Boom Boom Room.
I don't think so.
I think they should be banned from the Boom Boom Room.
Yeah, I don't think so, because
I don't think either one of them.
well.
I don't think either one of them takes protection and birth control seriously.
No, that's true. They don't. Clearly, they don't. But at the same time, they have an attraction to each other that is equally matched. She finds him very attractive.
Yeah, she does.
And he finds her very attractive too, and that's why he's making the comments he is. So they're on the same page with that. If it was a case where she wasn't into that and he wanted to crack, as he put it, then I would see more of an issue.
But is it fair? Here's the thing. Is it fair? And as a woman of a certain age and a certain level of experience, should she know, or should she suspect that that's all he wants is to crack?
I don't think.
Come on now. Come
all
on.
Right, so
tell the truth and shame the devil.
No, I think if he says to her, "Listen, I don't see a future with you. I just want to crack now because of the 6 kids," that's going to hurt her, and there's definitely not going to be no cracking going on. But I genuinely think he likes her, but I obviously he doesn't see anything. He doesn't know how the logistics are going to work and how it's going to work financially, because how many kids is he going to be on the hook for? How many have relationships with their father? How many have been taken care of financially? He doesn't know any of that, and he's already said that 2 is enough, financially. So to have extras, what is his role going to be in those children's lives? So, if he came clean and said, "Yeah, listen, I just want to knock the boots," how do you feel about that? I think it could go either way. She's had one night stand before, so she might actually be receptive to it. Who knows? But
I think he could at least be more forthcoming with her. And if he's feeling like he's not going to be able to do those 4 other kids, he should say that. I think that, she may be, like you said, she may be receptive to it, but him being just so obviously lying to her and misleading her, I don't think that's a good thing for either of them.
No, it's not. It's not a good thing. There's no justification for it. It's, he wants something. He wants now to minimize their connection, and he hasn't made her aware of that.
Right. That's the
so
thing.
I do understand that. that
You
point.
think you think yeah, okay, that's a good point. Do you think it's maybe now I just thought about it. Do you think maybe it's tit for tat though too? You think that maybe he's looking at it since she hid 3 babies from him. Do you feel like maybe he thinks it's like tit for tat because she's at least 2 over his one that he hid?
Unfortunately, I don't. I think what it is okay, you've laid up with someone you didn't know and did that. So
You
what's
lost
stopping me
respect.
from doing it?
Yeah,
Like,
he
what's
lost.
stopping me from doing it? I'm in a relationship with you, so I should be able to crack if you're giving it up to people who you don't even know like that.
Oh, okay. And then also too, I guess you made me think of something. You think maybe he basically just lost respect for her too, finding
Yeah,
out
kind
she
of,
had.
yeah. Because that prestige, that pedestalization that probably was taking place, even though he still likes her, okay, you're not wifey no more. Maybe you're just, you know, an attractive lady who I can have fun times with, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That part. She let a stranger get her pregnant.
Yeah,
So he thinks it's his turn.
crazy.
He's lost respect for her. I agree. Elle said. I absolutely think he's lost respect for her, and I think that her spidey senses are kind of giving it away because remember she did say to him during this scene, she said, it's the first time I have not really felt where you were coming from. That's why she kept asking him, what did he write? What did he write? Are you sure? Did you really say that? And I think she's not like a lot of times with us women, we don't listen all the time to our gut. And I think her gut's telling her that he's lying. Community property, huh?
I don't know, man. Maybe her woman's intuition is kicking in again, but
Mhm.
but her intuition actually was right. Remember, she said that she had this feeling that he was getting it from somewhere else, so she
Yeah,
decided to go out and get it from somewhere else. She was
yeah.
right. He got it, and he's got a 6 month child as a result of it.
They
And
both.
he went, yeah,
Hmm.
he went out, did her thing, and she got a 1 month old. So her intuition was actually right when you deep it. If her
And
intuition's kicking in now,
mhm.
like telling her that okay, now he probably only sees her as the booty call or the fun girl and not the wifey, then yeah, of course she may feel a certain way about that. But unfortunately, in these current days and ages that we live in,
Mhm.
that's actually going to be a common response from a lot of men.
Right, right. Well, as far as things that are going on next week, it looks like was it Clay and is that Tatiana?
Mhm.
Okay. It looks like they are going to be button heads. Now, we don't know if she finally finds out what it was that he was saying to Jared or if it's for some other reason, but they really seem to be butting heads because he's asking her, well, does she want to just leave? Should we just leave? And she said, well, you can do what you want to do. He's saying he feels disrespected, and she's saying, something's wrong here.
See, what I got from that, I think Jared goes and slips up and says, did you manage to tell her about the child? Or something along the
Ooh.
lines of, oh, you two are, so it wasn't bad after all when you told her, you know?
Oh,
And because Clay hasn't told her, he puts Clay right in it. And then
yeah.
that's when Tatiana is like, oh, so what is it? Or, what, a child? You didn't tell me. Yeah, I think that's what we're coming up.
I
We're
think
coming up.
Yeah, it looks like something like that. We see this couple here on the screen. We see Charlie and Jared. Looks like they're headed into the boom boom room like they are right here.
Mhm.
Uh and she's telling the camera people that they got to get out. Y'all don't have to go home, but y'all got to get up out of here.
Yeah, they're strolling confidently and proudly into the boom boom room to lay some pipe and do some plumbing.
Ooh,
And um, yeah, she's with it. She's down for it. And that's what I was saying to you. It's not like it's just him forcing that and she's not receptive. No, I think the attraction between them is mutual to the point where even though they haven't been intimate yet, and there's been no signs of any forcing or coercing or anything,
mm-mm.
so yeah, she looks like she's about to kick the camera crew out of there and get down to business because it's what they've both been probably lusting over and waiting for however long.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Um, yeah, so we shall see next week. We shall see what's going on, and whether or not too, also whether or not Kiki, whether or not she faces up to, or whether they even get to a counselor to have this conversation. Because right now the two of them, they can't seem to have a conversation without one of them quitting and walking away from the conversation. So I think they need additional help, and I'd like to see them get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Guys, we want to thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, for clicking that like button, for subscribing to the channel. Uh, Thank you for following Life is Reality in his channel. Catching him over on Instagram. You can catch me also under ActuallyAubery on Instagram, and on Facebook. Are you on Facebook? Life is Reality?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am in there.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook.
Okay. Your page is that? Are you trying to say your page is not public? That's fine. I mean, if that's the case.
Yeah, it's where it's more private. I don't have a lot
Oh,
going on Facebook, to be honest.
okay, gotcha. Okay, so don't follow him over on Facebook, but look for
No,
him.
I just have it because I've had it a long time. So it's
Yeah,
like where
yeah,
know.
yeah. I got you. I got you. Yeah, guys, you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Um, and with that being said, you ready to shimmy and shake on out of here?
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, let's get on out of here, guys. Have a happy Resurrection Day. Enjoy your Sunday. Hopefully, you having a great weekend. And anything else you want to say, JR, to the people?
Thank you for tuning in. What's up, El Cid? Hopefully you join us next week. If you're around, jump on. Um, hope everyone enjoys the rest of their holidays or their little break,
Yeah.
and stay safe out there. Press the like button if you like the content. Leave comments if you have any feedback or you saw something differently on the show that we missed or that we didn't cover. Let us know and let's chop it up in the comments.
Yeah. Let's chop it up. All right, guys. See you next time, next week, same time, same place.